Welcome back to L&D Home. In today's video, we are going to be tackling a home project that I have been wanting to do for a long time, and it's hidden here behind this curtain. We have a lot to get done today, a lot of steps, and hopefully we do them all correctly. So hopefully you are along for the ride to learn how to do this right along with me. But since we have so much to do and I can't wait to get this done, let's go ahead and jump right on in. Introductions, drum roll, please. Ugh. This is our master bathroom. We have sliding glass shower doors in here. I hate them. Let me tell you why I hate these doors so much. For one, they're just a pain. But for two, they get really, really gross. Now, this looks relatively clean because I actually just cleaned yesterday, but gunky stuff gets all in those crevices and it is a pain to get out. The second reason is the actual cleaning process. You can only clean, I'm showing you here, half of the tub at a time. So I have to put my body in this half and do that part. Then I have to slide the doors over to do the other half of the bathtub. But here's the problem with that is the toilet is right next to the bathtub. So as a mid-plus size gal, I have to like shove and maneuver my body in there. I cannot move around. I can never get all of the spots clean. So these are they're just coming out. They just have to go. I've been wanting to get rid of them since we moved in 3 years ago. Today is the day. I am so pumped. The first step is going to be to remove this screw that is keeping the sliding glass doors from falling out. I'm just going to use a regular screwdriver off camera to remove this piece. I am now ready to pop the doors out, and all the YouTube videos I watched made it look really easy, but mine did not come out that easy. So I fiddled with it for a while. One side would pop out, the other side would not want to come out. It was a struggle bus over here. It was just not working. I then noticed, oh my goodness, there are some screws holding the doors into the track. Here I am pointing to them. So I was like, well, let me take those out. The drill would have been great, except for it didn't fit. So then I got a small stubby screwdriver after the drill bit fell out, and I tried to put it back in and try it again. But the small stubby screwdriver wouldn't fit because the track was in the way. So I then had to run all the way downstairs into the garage and find 3 Phillips screwdrivers because I was not going back down there. I did end up finding one that worked. It was a lot of elbow grease and my arms hurt real bad, but I did manage to get the screws out of both sides. I tried to use the drill to kind of start that other one. It was way worse even trying to fit it in that area, but I did manage to get the screws out. And success, it came out. I was so excited. So much more room for activities. Name that movie in the comments down below. I'm sure I didn't say the line right, but I'm excited nonetheless. So there are these little things that keep the doors from slamming into the sides. You just push those up, they pop right off. And then there are 3 screws on each side. So I'm just going to take these screws out, 3 on this side, and then I'm going to move to the other side. And you're going to see my annoyance in a second when I realize that bottom screw was a flat head. Luckily, I had brought up a flathead screwdriver with me, but it didn't work. So eventually, here in a second, I'm going to move on to taking an X-Acto knife and scraping that caulk line and just kind of getting that to peel up. I worked on this for quite a little minute. One thing we've realized with this house is that the people that purchased it and flipped it did a lot of janky things. Every single home project that we have ever tried to do has run into some major issues. We have not been able to do a project without something going awry. And this was another one of those times. I knew it when I started. I was just hoping this would be easy peasy. Now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get this off. I started with this side, but like I said, that flathead screw gave me issues. So I decided to move to the other side, and that actually popped off really easily. I didn't need a scraper or anything. I was able to get that side and the top off. I fiddled with this side for about 5 seconds before I was like, nope, I'm going to do the bottom. I did have to scrape a little bit more and use a scraper to kind of get underneath there. I did try a little bit on that side, but I was like, yeah, it's just not going to happen. I was afraid that it was going to fall and like hit me in the face. So I decided to put the screw back in there just a little bit to hold that side piece. And I was mortified with how disgusting it was underneath here. Ugh. I'm unfortunately back to that side with the flathead screw. You're going to see moments where I get really angry. I actually almost gave up and just said I'm not doing this. I cut out a lot of the footage for this because it took me forever. I was so frustrated, clearly. I was trying to give it some back pressure, so I was pulling on it and trying to unscrew it at the same time because it just felt like the screw was spinning around in circles like a merry-go-round and it was going absolutely nowhere. And I kept going way longer than I'm showing you in this video. But I am going to put in a clip here of the craziness of this screw. Here I'm showing you the length of the screws that were on the other side and the rest of the spots. And then here is the screw that the previous owners used to replace it. I worked on this off camera because I was getting mad. Here is the difference of these screws. This blew my mind. I don't understand. Now it was time for me to start scraping all of this disgusting mess and caulk off of everything. I was just using like a a putty scraper. I will say you have to be very, very careful with this. Slow and steady wins the race for sure. I am not a professional. I would not do this at anyone else's house. I did make a few marks, not on the bathtub part, but really on those sides. I then remembered, oh my goodness, we have one of these caulk remover tool things. So I ran downstairs to the garage and grabbed it, and I was so excited just to realize it wasn't going to work. It was really making marks in the side here, and I was like, no. So I eventually switched back to that putty scraper. I didn't record everything because honestly, it took me like 45 minutes to do this and clean up and everything. Just be really careful. I did figure out too, using my other hand to help me guide that pressure and make sure I wasn't pushing like directly down too far and gouging anything was really helpful. So like I said, slow and steady wins the race on this one. Do not get frustrated and rush because you will mess up your tub surround. It's time to get those anchors out now. Here's a tip. Just take the screw that came in there and you want to screw it in just like 2 or 3 turns. You don't want it to go all the way in so that it's making the anchor puff out. Just secure enough where when you take your trusty pliers, you're going to see here in a second, you can get a good grasp on it and pull it out. Make sure you don't pinch your fingers when you hold that other end, and you're just going to pull, gently wiggle back and forth, and voila, there pops out your anchor. So I did this with all of the anchors that were in the sides. It's now time for me to repair those holes from the screws. I got this tub and tile kit off Amazon. It's not the one that I wanted. The one that I wanted only came in almond, and then the white and almond was very expensive, and it was also sold out. So I got this one instead, and I don't know how happy I am with it because there was goo everywhere. Part B had actually leaked out. It was all over the gloves. It was all over everything, the stick, the containers. It was an absolute mess. And since it came with gloves, I was unsure if I was really supposed to be touching it, but I went ahead and read the directions. You mix part A and part B equal parts together. Make sure that your tub surround is clean, which I had already done. Then you just fill in your holes or your scratches. And then I realized you had to wait 24 hours to sand. And I was not happy because the other one was a quicker dry time, but here we are. I just decided, well, I already have it out. I already have the holes in there now. So I'm going to go ahead and just do it. It was really difficult to get everything out of the box. So I immediately went and cleaned my hands, put the gloves on. But the problem is the gloves were sticky, like everything was sticky. So I was sticking to absolutely everything, which made this really, really hard to mix. I had to get an X-Acto knife to get the sticker off because the sticker was sticking to me. It was an absolute mess, but I just used a spoon from the kitchen and a little Tupperware container, which I threw both of those away after, to just mix the equal parts together. I did use that popsicle stick to mix, but like I said, that was sticky too. So this was just really, really difficult. So I'm only going to be showing you me filling one hole because I was sticking to everything and it was getting so frustrated. So here's me just using that popsicle stick to try to fill in this hole. I tried to push it in there as far as I could. It is not perfect. I used the little scraper thing they gave me to smooth it out and went back in over and over again. It's not perfect. You can tell there used to be a hole there, but at this point, it was good enough for me. I then decided, since I had to wait for that stuff to dry anyway, that I was going to re-caulk because it's getting really gross. So I just did a quick clean so the caulk would stick. I was really careful not to get any cleaner or any water on those holes that I had filled from the screws. And then I'm going in with this tool that I tried to use before, and it was no better on the sides. I think it's just the caulk was really like deep in there. It wasn't like a clean line like when you see in your kitchen, like around your sink or something. It was rough, guys. It was really rough. So I got out as much as I could, and then I realized that our caulk was old and dried out, and our caulk gun is janky. So I actually found a product from Target that you're supposed to be able to re-caulk over the existing caulk. So I wasn't really too worried once I found that product online for 2-hour pickup that I could not get all of the caulk out. This is the product I picked up from Target. I will use it again, but there is definitely a learning curve with it. For one, it squeezes out kind of funny and it gets a lot of air bubbles in there. So you really have to like turn it upside down, shake it down really, really hard, which causes a lot of splatter all over the place. Also, I did not like the tool that came on the end of it. It was just not working for kind of those deep crevices in our tub. So I ended up finally being able to find a use for this tool, and it worked much, much better. I do like this product, but like I said, there is a learning curve with it. But for $7 or $8, it was really quick and easy, and it is supposed to be water ready within 6 hours. It does also clean up really easily with water. This is just an old rag that I got wet. You do have to work kind of fast though, because it does set up rather quickly. So I noticed as I was going, when I went to do the top, it was already starting to kind of set up. So work really fast with your cleanup and make sure that you get everything out of the bottom of the tub. Because I had to shake it so vigorously to get more of the product down, I had lots of splatter. I don't know if you can see those little white specks in the bottom of the tub, but I wanted to make sure that I went in and cleaned those up as well because I didn't want them to harden. So you're going to see in this next clip that I'm just cleaning out the bottom of the tub and letting everything set for 6 hours. Well, 24 hours because I do have to wait to sand those spots. But overall, good product, great for the money, very quick and easy if you don't want to buy caulk or you do not have a caulk gun. So I do recommend it. Here's what the caulk is looking like as it dries. I'm not a professional, so it's a little bit uneven and a little bit wonky, but it looks way better than what was there, and it really just makes the tub look nice and fresh. It is now the next day and it is time to sand. Now, our tub surround is actually not ceramic or anything, it's a plastic. And I knew that when I bought this kit, but I could not find a kit for the plastic tub surround. So this sanded off really, really easily. No promises if yours is ceramic, it will. But I did have to be careful not to scratch the plastic. It definitely is not perfect. You can still tell there's holes there. It looks better in person than on camera. I need to do a second layer, but I just couldn't be bothered. I just want my bathroom back. Let's remind ourselves of what this bathroom looked like before. It looked really cramped. I really hated that shiny steel shower door encasing, and it just made everything a pain to clean. Oh my gosh, looking back, I just hate it so much. And now, in a second, here we go. Here is the reveal. I absolutely love how open and fresh, updated and clean everything feels. And I will tell you, cleaning the shower was so much easier. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please check out the video and the playlist on the screen. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can become part of our YouTube family. Bye.